Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Lincoln Area High School Basketball Media Days, sponsored by the College of Journalism and Mass Communications at UNL. I'm Paige Trutna. I'm going to be your moderator for today. We're super excited to get to showcase or celebrate all these incredible players, coaches, and teams that we have here today. Welcome to those of you joining us on the Nebraska News Service video stream. If you have a question for one of our coaches or athletes, just raise your hand and then one of our mic runners will bring you a microphone. First up, we have Pius. We'll have them introduce themselves and then get started with questions.
Go ahead.
My name's Bryn Shebek. I'm a senior and I'm a shooting guard.
Hi, I'm Sita Hagedorn. I'm a senior forward.
My name's Sarah Iberg, and I'm a senior, and I'm a forward and a guard.
And I'm Coach Ryan Pasota.
Hi guys. So Coach, you brought 5 seniors here today, all 5 your seniors. How would you describe this senior class?
This is a really good senior class of multi-sport athletes. Sarah here is led her team to a state tournament in softball this fall. Sita led her team to the state volleyball tournament this fall. And then I have 2 cross-country runners here, Natalie and Nora, who both ran in the state cross-country meet this fall as well. And then Bryn has kind of been our leader of fall conditioning for our kids that aren't out for another sport. So all of them have displayed really good leadership qualities this fall, which should translate well into them helping us lead us back to the state tournament this year.
Okay, so you said that they're all multi-sport athletes. So how do you guys keep from not getting burnt out, especially since you rarely have an off season? How do you keep going and stay healthy and happy?
I mainly just try and make the practices fun and just try and bring the energy. Yeah.
I think it helps when you have teammates that you love playing with and you want to go and see them every day.
Yeah, we just have a really fun environment here at Pius. We all love our teammates, and it's just fun to come every day. It's not dreading after school. It's a fun environment to be around.
So your coach mentioned how you guys have all stepped into leadership roles. How would you characterize your leadership style, and how do you make sure that you're being a good leader for each other and for your younger teammates?
I like to make sure that everyone's involved and know what they're doing. Just to welcome the underclassmen.
I think I like having fun at practice, but then I think that we also need to make sure that we're focusing and working hard and trying to get better every day at practice.
Yeah, like Sita said, knowing our role and having a good balance of fun at practice, but also time to be serious and get done what we need to get done.
Seeing as you're all seniors, would you say you have a different mentality than years past just because it's your final year?
I mean, it's a little bit different. We're the biggest leaders. Everyone's gonna be looking up to us. But I still have the same mindset of showing people what our roles are and stuff.
I think we know that it's our turn to lead now, and we want to make the most of it, which would be making it to state this year.
Yeah, I feel to speak on behalf of us, I think we were a lot more hungry this year. Coming up short, we lost, coming up running up in district finals, so it's this year to go cut down the nets this year and hopefully make it to PBA.
A question for the coach. What do each of these players bring to the table that can help the team fulfill their goals this season?
You know, each player is very unique in their skill set. Sarah here has been a 3 to 4 year starter. Bryn and Sita have come off the bench the last couple of years, so their role is going to change and expand this year. But each of them knows what we expect in a practice and in our environment at Pius. They know that our goal is to get to the state tournament and be successful every year there. And so every game matters, and so it's going to be their job this season to just make sure we push everybody else and keep everybody on the same page.
Can you guys go through each of your personal goals for this season, whether that's on the court or off the court?
of my personal goals is just to not take things for granted and just enjoy each moment, and then I guess just do my best in every game and never regret each game.
I agree. Some of my goals would be to never regret, because this is going to be my last time playing basketball, so I think I want to go out on a good note and just being there for my teammates and just having a super fun season.
Yeah, just know my role, be a good leader, but never take anything for granted, like Sarah said, because it's our last time all 5 of us seniors will be playing together, so it's just super special.
You guys have talked a lot about the fun you have together. How important is team chemistry, and how have you been able to build that in your 4 years with the program?
We've all played with each other for a long time, and we kind of know each other and how each of us want to have fun, and we also want to win, so we just always find a balance.
Yeah, I think team chemistry is super important, and I especially think that we have a lot of it this year. I mean, me and Sarah have been playing together since kindergarten. Me and Bryn have been playing together since 5th grade. We've all known each other since we were freshmen, so I think this year we're going to have lots of team chemistry.
Yeah, it just helps us grow a lot better bond on the court together. We incorporate going out to escape rooms and gingerbread house competitions together just to get that fun aspect of basketball and friendship.
How would you all describe the culture of this team that you're trying to build this year?
Well, I think the culture of this team is they're very unselfish on the basketball court. They do a really good job of moving the basketball and sharing, and being happy for whoever's doing the scoring, rebounding, etc. They all relish being in big situations, but I think they're happy for everybody's success, and so their unselfishness is a really big characteristic of this group.
I'd agree with Pasota. We're all very unselfish, and we all have the same mindset on what we want to do.
I think we're all very competitive and hardworking. We come in the gym every day and just try our best and work our hardest, so I think that'll get us far this year.
Yeah, it really feels like a family here at Pius with our girls basketball team, and it's just we want the best for all of us. We don't care win or lose. We want to do it for each other. So, yeah.
All of you can answer this. What do you think was the most encouraging thing that happened in the off season that makes you excited for this year?
To me, the most encouraging thing is their leadership that they showed this summer. And even though I'm not around it all the time, but the leadership they showed on their teams this fall, I mean, for each of their teams to be able to qualify for state and be successful at the highest level in Class A, it shows me already going into our season that their leadership and their competitive drive to get to the top is what we're looking for.
Yeah, and it was also nice seeing each different players step up, even if you didn't think they would.
I think this summer in our league games we played really good, and I think we really just saw our true potential come out this summer.
Yeah, we put a lot of work in preseason, whether that's lifting, open gyms. We've all put the work in, and now it's time to just show it.
So seeing as you guys go to a Catholic school, how big of a role does faith play in your basketball?
Well, we try to incorporate prayer at the beginning and end of every practice. Obviously, the way that we treat each other within our program, whether it's the varsity team or the lower level kids, treating everybody the same, but also the way that we interact with our opponents as well.
Yeah, I feel our sport doesn't define us, who we are as a player. It's more we're a person outside of basketball too, so that's really important.
Yeah, I feel it's always a bigger picture than just basketball.
What kind of things do you guys do to stay healthy during the season and in shape?
Well, I try to do a balance of not hammering them every day with up and down stuff, but using a balance when you have 2-game weeks or 3-game weeks. to try to give them a chance to get their legs back, especially early in the season, making sure we're playing more kids so these kids can make it to the end of the season. But just doing everything we can from stretching to icing to having these kids take care of their bodies, whether it's wearing a winter coat when it's cold outside and hats and things like that. All of those things are important to get us to March when it really becomes real.
Do you have favorite memories from your time of playing together?
Kind of speaking on what Coach Pisota said, just his last comment. Last year, he kind of always got on us for wearing our winter coats. So one practice, we all showed up in full ski suits and hats, gloves, like the whole snow outfit. It was pretty fun.
This was to a meeting, not to practice. We had film before practice, and they all showed up in gloves and hats and ski equipment. So having fun with it.
One time, a senior brought a Wii on the bus. I think it was to North Platte, so we got to play Wii on the bus.
My favorite memory was probably from this past season when we were in the classroom watching film, and our assistant coach, Andy, he was looking at the board and he went to go sit down in his chair and he completely missed and fell. And none of us knew if we should laugh or not, but then he started laughing, so it was really funny.
Are we all good? All right, so that was Pius. Stay tuned. We'll have some more teams in here soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our Lincoln Area High School Basketball Media Days, sponsored by UNL's College of Journalism and Mass Communications. Up next, we have Norris, and we'll let them introduce themselves. Just raise your hand if you have a question after that, and our mic runners will come to you.
I'm Eddie Tidball. I'm a senior and I'm a shooting guard.
I'm Ella Johnson. I'm a senior and I'm a forward.
I'm Grayson Peening. I'm also a senior and I'm a guard.
I'm Wally Johnson and I'm the head coach.
Coach, it was your first season last season and you continued the trend of making state. How do you plan on continuing that this season?
This team is going to be somewhat different than we had last year. We graduated 3 pretty intimidating players that were fairly tall, athletic. This year we're not going to be near as big, but I think we'll be as athletic and if not more. We'll play faster. We'll look to play full court defense a little bit with a little more aggression and create turnovers. The shot clock, I think, is going to be something that plays into our favor. So we'll play a different style, and we're going to look to get more shots up, play faster, get layups. So a pace of play that we're going to be comfortable with is going to be fast.
What does your guys' team culture look like? You can all answer this if you want.
I think that we're really close as a team. I know last year was one of the first teams that I've played on that I felt like we were super close on and off the court, and I think that really helped when we were on the court because we could all help each other out. So I think as all of us are seniors this year, we want to keep that team chemistry, like have team building opportunities like on the weekends, and that's going to really help us just so we're all close and know how to help one another when we really need it.
It also helps that we're all friends. Sure, we might have friends outside of basketball, but once it's basketball season, we're all close, like, together, and we all have that chemistry together, so that also helps.
You mentioned the team building off the court. Do you guys have a favorite memory off the court you'd want to share?
We do this yearly gingerbread making competition. So we all dress up as something starting with the first letter of our first name, and then we all get into teams and decorate gingerbread houses, and the coaches get to pick who wins those. So.
And we have chili with it too, so yeah.
You mentioned playing fast throughout the entire game. With playing fast comes a lot of late game fatigue. How do you plan on battling that throughout the game?
A deep bench. We have 6 really athletic seniors that each bring their own dynamic to the team, but we also have some underclassmen that are ready to play, and they're chomping at the bit. And so we have spots that are wide open. I see us. My vision is when we play a game, we're going to look to play 9, 10, 11 girls, and hopefully wear our opponents down with that ability to play pressure defense and fast-paced offense.
And also this week, we had conditioning before season actually starts on Monday, so I think that's really going to help. And then we also talked about making our practices just like a game or even harder than a game, so when the game does come around, those almost seem easy because we've worked so hard and conditioned hard in practice.
Coach, what do you expect of your senior leaders having such a big team, and then seniors, how do you step into this role as leaders this season?
So we had a senior dinner last night and kind of talked about our roles as seniors. Just being positive leaders, creating an environment that's positive, that enables our underclassmen to feel as though they can just perform their best and not worry about making mistakes. And it's okay if they make mistakes, because I preach that if we make mistakes, that means we're getting better, because we learn from those things. So like I said before, each senior brings their own dynamic as far as leadership. Each senior brings their own dynamic as far as how they perform on the court and what they can do. And then I think they have a feel after we met last night, just an understanding of what it means to be a servant leader and to enable our underclassmen to perform their best so that we can be our best.
All of us seniors are very different leaders, whether that be vocal leaders, leaders by action, whatnot. And I think with that being 6 of us, I think that meshes very well together, and that we all kind of get all of them like covered, I guess. So we just go good together.
What are the strengths individually you guys plan on providing to your team to get success?
I know for me, I feel like I'm more of like a positive person. Like I'm always going to be cheering you on. Like I'm going to help you when you make a mistake and stuff like that. I know we have a lot of like defensive threats, like Kennedy, she's really good at getting steals. Ella can block people. Addie's a really good shooter. And then Nicole has really good ball handling, and she also is really good at defense. And then Grace is just like that spark that we need. Like if we need a point, she's going to get that for us. Like that's our seniors. And I can also see a bunch of our underclassmen stepping in and taking on similar roles as us.
Okay, it sounds like we are going to rotate players. So if we want to do that really quickly. And then if you guys want to introduce yourselves as well.
I'm Nicole Keatle. I'm a senior and I'm a guard.
I'm Kennedy Sullivan. I'm a senior and I'm a guard too.
I'm Grace Kohler. I'm a senior and I'm a forward.
Hi, I was wondering, what are some steps you guys take to overcome mental blocks and nerves?
Yeah, like every season I feel like there's always like a point in the season where we just like hit a slump, like in games or like in practices. And I just think like overall just like energy, like finding that energy just like to bring us back up really helps us. It helped us last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we talked about just making sure that we're always being positive, no negative thoughts, because it's a lot easier when everyone's positive about it. And just like Grayson said, making our practices tougher, it'll really help us in those game situations where it does get hard mentally.
Coach, you mentioned it was a very different team this year than it was last year. What has that been like for you, just coaching-wise, and like making a different game plan for this year?
Yeah, it enables us to do different things than what we've done in the past, and it challenges me as a coach because it's a different dynamic. I love what our team has because I love multi-sport athletes, and each one of these seniors is a multi-sport athlete, whether it be soccer, cross country, volleyball, track and field. They bring different dynamics that way athletically, but our underclassmen are the same thing. We have a lot of talent. We just need to tap into that talent and get the most out of it we can.
What advice would you guys give to girls who are like in middle school or elementary school who want to play basketball at a high school level? What advice would you give them?
I'd say just like follow your like passions. Like if you really like basketball, like put in the work, like practice every day, like just like overall just like put in the work and like you'll get better.
I would say you can't be afraid to fail, because if you're afraid to fail, then you're not going to reach your highest potential.
Yeah, and I would say take every opportunity you have, because they don't come around very often. So when they do, it's important to take them.
And we're kind of in a unique dynamic that we're a Class B school, but our entire school is on one campus. So we see our little ones, we see our middle schoolers, so they know who these guys are, and they have that connection when they reach campus. So who they are and what they do and what they accomplished is a big deal. So they're big role models for our little ones. So.
How do outside disagreements with other team members affect you guys on the field?
As in like our outside like friendships, our bonding. Yeah. I think like Grayson said, like we're friends outside of like the sport, off the court. So the more time we spend together outside of basketball, the closer we are when we do come to basketball season.
Are we good? All right, sweet. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Next up, we'll have some more teams in here, so stay tuned for that. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our Lincoln Area High School's Media Days, sponsored by the College of Journalism and Mass Communications. Up next, we have Southwest, so if you want to introduce yourself really quickly, and then same rule for questions, just raise your hand and the mic operators will come to you.
My name is Kennedy Williams. I'm a senior, and I play point guard.
What are some of your individual strengths that you can bring to the team this year?
I would say probably my defensive intensity, because I know that brings a lot of energy to both the defensive side and the offensive side. So I'd say that's probably my biggest strength.
What does it mean for you personally to be representing your school here today?
It means a lot just because I'm the only senior on our basketball team this year. So I feel like this is kind of the first step of leading that team, and just being here representing means a lot.
What does your team culture look like this year?
A lot of us played together last year, so we're kind of a close-knit group already. And I don't know, I feel like that'll help for our play this year because we all trust each other, we all get along really well, so I think that'll help.
You had your commitments yesterday. How does it feel to finally sign with the team and then focus on this season with your high school?
Yeah, it feels good to kind of have it official now and then to kind of move on to focus on my senior year with my high school, because this is like one last go around. So I really kind of want to put my all into this year before going on to next year.
Can you explain how being a coach's kid is like growing up and how you've been throughout that?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been around the game of basketball. Both of my parents were coaches, and I feel like even at home, like all we do is watch basketball. We go to the gym, we talk about basketball. It's kind of, sometimes it can be like overwhelming just because it's all basketball, but I feel like it's really helped with like the player that I am today, because I mean, I have like a pretty high basketball IQ, I'd say, just being around it for forever. So
how do you stay healthy during such a long season, and even looking into the future, how do you kind of take that into account as you go through the season?
I'd say knowing when I kind of need an off day helps, and just kind of getting enough sleep, which I'm pretty good at, going to bed at like a good hour, and then going to the trainer if I need to. I know some people are scared to go to the trainer because they don't want them to like take you out of a game, but just kind of trusting them helps a lot with staying healthy.
How does your team look up to you being a Nebraska recruit?
I feel like they all kind of look to me, like, especially when things are not going like as planned, a lot of them kind of like look up to me, and I don't know, I help them feel comfortable, I'd say, because I have quite a bit of experience and they know that, and I think it just kind of puts them at ease, especially if we have like a big game or a tough game.
What does it mean to you representing Lincoln Public Schools as a whole?
I mean, I'd say Lincoln is like pretty good and competitive in the state of Nebraska with kind of all the sports. So just representing LPS is pretty cool, I'd say.
You kind of came back towards the end of last season, and then your team went on a run. Question one, what's the advantage of being there through the whole off season and having that type of preparation, and also what's it going to take for you to go on another run and make it to state?
Throughout the whole season, we worked towards just getting better so that we're our best in like February. So at the beginning, like we work on our conditioning level, and then after that we kind of start to work on like our offensive like skills. And then I'd say this year it's important that we kind of stick to that process to make sure that we make a run later. But I'd also say that last year it helped that we were all super close and kind of wanted to do it for our two seniors that we had. So I feel like wanting to play for each other also helps.
What's your favorite memory from, being a part of the team all your 4 years of high school?
Definitely my sophomore year, we made a big run at the state tournament. We won our first round, and second round we were facing Millard South, and they were undefeated all year, being the 1 seed. And before the game, we kind of knew that like we were on upset alert, we called it, and we ended up beating them going on to the championship game. And after that night of beating Millard South was definitely my favorite.
Are there any worries going into college playing two sports?
I would say my biggest worry is probably falling behind in one of them, because if I spend too much time like working on softball, could fall behind with the other like 24s in basketball or the other way around. So I would say just kind of spending time working on both would help with that, but that's probably my biggest worry.
What led to that decision in playing 2 sports in basketball and softball at the college level?
I always knew that it would be a hard decision to choose between not only where to go, but like what sport to play. So when I kind of got the idea of playing both in college and Nebraska was offering that, I couldn't really turn it down. So
Besides having the chance to play for your mom, were there any other deciding factors that made you choose Nebraska over other schools?
yeah, one of those factors being I could play both softball and basketball, but also when I was around both of the teams, they both were super positive and super supportive. So I just kind of knew that those were the type of people I wanted to be around. And then it also helped that Nebraska was not too far from home.
All right, are we all good? All right, thanks, Kennedy. Stay tuned. We'll have some more teams in here soon. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our high school media days, sponsored by the College of Journalism and Mass Communications. Next up, we have Lincoln Lutheran, so we'll let them introduce themselves and then get to questions.
Hi, I'm Ava Stroud. I'm a senior and I'm a forward.
I'm Sophie Wolgemuth. I'm a senior. I play forward.
I'm Jenna Luby. I'm also a senior and I'm a guard.
I'm Andrew Broders, and I'm the head coach.
So you guys mentioned that you're all seniors. Do you have a different mentality going into this year, knowing it's your last year, as opposed to previous years?
Well, this is our last ride, so we just want to make the most out of our opportunities, play super aggressive, and win as many games as possible.
With your school and some of you athletes coming off of a win at state volleyball, how do you now transition your focus to the basketball season?
We have a lot of the same girls that carry over from volleyball to basketball, so we keep some of the same mentalities, like being able to compete, having that confidence that we've been on the big stage has been a big thing, but also just trusting our training, like we're volleyball players, but we're also basketball players, and like we can have the same mindset coming into basketball season that we had in volleyball season and play the game that we know how to.
Coach, what are some of the challenges you face being your first year taking over this program, and how have you responded to those?
Yeah, for sure. So I think one of the biggest challenges is just figuring out the strengths and weaknesses of the girls. Obviously, I got to figure that out a little bit over the summer, especially over June. But then they transitioned into volleyball season, and I let them do their thing, and it worked out well for them as they're coming off the state championship. But figuring out what works for us, what doesn't work for us, and then as the season goes on, how teams are adjusting to our playing style. So we got to make adjustments. So when we get to February, we're in a good spot.
Coach, what do each of these players bring to the table that can help this team reach their goals this season?
For sure. I think we have 3 great leaders up here with our seniors. They're 3-time state champions in volleyball, but they're also seeing success on the basketball floor. They're state runner-ups their sophomore years, got 3rd place their freshman year, so they know how to win on the basketball floor too. Jenny right here, she's going to go play basketball at Concordia next year. Sophie's going to go play volleyball at Concordia also. So we also have a couple college athletes. So I'm not worried about them having a winning mentality. I know they're going to lead us in a good spot. Like I said, once we get to February, hopefully we're ready to roll.
Basketball's a long season. How do you guys work to stay healthy and keep yourselves from being burnt out?
I think we do a lot of like rest recovery stuff. We go like hard in the weight room, but we know like when a big game's coming up, definitely take back on that and like go over like our game plan and like do a lot of scrimmaging of like what we're gonna like see from the other players and get a lot of sleep and do a lot of homework and get all that done so we have rest time.
Coach, can you explain to me how coming from Waverly, coaching boys basketball there, and now at Lincoln Lutheran coaching girls, can you explain to me the difference from moving from boys to girls?
Yeah, great question. There's definitely benefits to both boys and girls. I think girls, you can play some different types of defenses that you necessarily can't. On the boys' side, same thing for offense. Girls listen better in general, I would say also. So that's definitely a beneficial thing that I know that they're going to do exactly what I say, and I can trust in them to go execute out there. But I'm lucky coming from Waverly. I've learned from some really, really good coaches there. I was hired by Coach Ryan Reeder, and then Coach Borcher took over. Coach Harms was there, Coach Henning, Coach Fritz, Coach Osborne, Coach Ekwall. I had some really, really good coaches at my time there, both for head coach and assistants. And so I was fortunate to be surrounded by them and learn a lot. And I'm excited to take all those learnings and apply it to Lincoln Lutheran.
So you guys are all volleyball players. How does being a multi-sport athlete and the skills that you portray in the volleyball court, how does that help you in basketball?
It kind of just teaches us how to compete. We want to win. That's our main goal here. So just being competitors, we're super focus in practice, focus in games. Like, that's our goal. We come out there to win, and we expect to win. So I think that's just a big thing, because a big part of winning is your mindset coming into it, and we really have that down.
Also, piggybacking off of that, like, just having experience being on the big stage, having experienced all the cameras, all the lights, the big environment, like, having that experience under your belt is definitely an advantage, I think. So no matter what sport you're in, like, playing in a high school gym compared to playing at PBA, it's going to be a lot different, but having that experience helps a ton. So I think that's an advantage to us.
What kind of production have you guys been seeing from just outside of just your current senior class? And Coach, how does that make you feel about your next few years in charge of the team?
Can you just repeat that, please?
Yeah. What kind of production have you guys seen from outside of just your senior class? And then, Coach, how does that make you feel about your next few years with the team?
Yeah. So we're really balanced, seniors through freshmen. We're going to have some freshmen that see the floor for us on the varsity side of things. So I'm excited for them to kind of learn the high school game. It's going to be a lot more physical for them compared to middle school. So they're going to have to kind of get over that learning curve. But I think we got some talent in our younger classes. We also have a good sophomore junior class that are going to see plenty of minutes on the varsity side of things. So I think we're going to be really, really balanced. I think we have good balance on both the guard side and our post side also. So when we start to go to our bench throughout the season, I'm confident that we can bring girls off the bench and we're still going to be productive.
So you mentioned that there's going to be freshmen contributing on the team this year. As like seniors, how can you guys have an impact on them and get them acclimated to the varsity level?
Yeah, so like for me, I know as a freshman, I played a lot of varsity minutes, so I've been in those shoes, and I definitely had some upperclassmen who took me under their wing and really just led me along the way of high school. Like, high school ball is a lot harder, it's a lot more rigorous, like he said. And so just taking those girls under your wing, like being there, letting them know, like always just encouraging them, I feel like is the biggest and most important thing.
Also, by leading by example, like, you want to go hard to make sure that they're working at 100%. So just showing them what it means to be a varsity player by like working really hard and showing them how we want to play basketball.
All right, sweet. Thanks, guys. We'll have some more teams in here soon, so stay tuned for that. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our high school media days sponsored by the College of Journalism and Mass Communications. Up next, we've got Waverly, so I'll let them introduce themselves, and then we'll get to questions.
I'm Aniston Harms.
I'm Parker Christensen.
And I'm John Cockrell.
When do you guys kick off your season, and what are you looking most forward to for beginning?
We kick off our season Tuesday. I think is it the 21st?
Yeah.
Yep. And then we have a jamboree versus Lincoln Lutheran, so we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think we're definitely just looking forward to starting the season with this new group of girls that we have, and we played Lincoln Lutheran before in the past, like this summer. So we're just kind of like it's a good game to start with, get all the nerves out. This is at home, so.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be our first game. Practice starts Monday, and for me, I'm ready for practice, so get going a little bit.
What are you guys' goals for this season, and how do you look to accomplish those? I think definitely a goal for we can all say is to make it back to the state tournament. I mean, ever since we've been in high school, we've made it to state, and we've lost in the first round. So I think a goal for this year is to make it to state and to get past that first round. And I think the way that we're going to get there is kind of like bringing that intensity to practices. And we're pretty young this year. We have a lot of freshmen and sophomores. So definitely just like showing them that like this is the intensity we need to bring every day, and kind of just get everybody on board with that.
Yeah.
How do you show leadership to those newer people who are coming onto the team, and what kind of leadership styles do you all bring to the table?
Well, when we were freshmen, we had really good like upperclassmen to like show us what it's like and like how we should lead others. So I think that's really helped. And I think this summer we just included them when we had league games. We offered to drive them, or we would like, hey, let's go get breakfast or lunch, and just make sure like that not only do they have fun playing basketball, but they have fun hanging out with us, and we can build a bond that's outside of the sport of basketball, and like just have that chemistry on and off the court.
Yeah, and a big thing is like we don't like to look at our team and be like, oh, the seniors are the only leaders that they have. Like the seniors are the only ones that can be like suggesting stuff and stuff like that. We want everybody to feel like what they say matters, and like they can be able to come to us and say, hey, I think we should do this. So they can come to coach and be like, hey, I can do this, or we should change to this. Even if they're a freshman, like that's a big thing is we don't want people to feel scared to speak up for what they think that we should be doing. So kind of we have leaders that you could say are on the court, and like people that are like playing and returning starters, but we want everybody to feel like they can be a leader at times.
Yeah.
When one person say isn't having a good day, then somebody else can step up.
Yeah, I mean, we want to be like a family. We want those younger ones to learn to trust the older girls, trust us coaches, and we trust them, so that we build on that. Obviously, it helps that I have taught almost all these girls, so they know who I am personally. And, that's the biggest thing with us, is just kind of being a family. And, yes, we have a lot of fun, but they know how to turn it back on when it's time to crank up practice a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Coach, what excites you about this group?
This group here, they're fun. That right there, they're a fun group. They're a caring group. They care for each other. They care for me. I care for them. They care for other coaches. You can just see that in them. When we get together, sometimes we're having too much fun, and I've got to make sure that I get them going back the right way in practice so we don't waste time, because I'm not a 2-hour practice guy. We get in, we get out, and we get some things done. But, these girls, top to bottom, are just great kids. We'll have about 20 some out, and just fun to be around.
Coach, what do each of these players bring to the table to help the team be as successful as possible this year?
Well, I mean, the 4 girls that we're going to have starting up here, they bring experience to start with, and they bring experience from their freshman year, like they were talking about how to treat people coming up. They want those freshmen to feel that way. That can't just come from me. I mean, it doesn't work that way. I can ask them to do it, but if they don't go and do that kind of stuff, that's the biggest aspect for them. Yes. Can they all shoot? Yes. Can they all play defense? Yes. Rebound? Yeah. Can they do the things I ask them to do? No doubt. But if they don't get the other kids to believe into what we're trying to do, and I don't mean me and the coaches, I mean what we're trying to do as the core group coming back, you're not going to see success. And I think that you'll see success from this group. Yeah.
With new players coming in and seniors from last season who are no longer part of the team, how does the dynamic change and how do you adjust to that?
I think definitely this year last year we were definitely on the taller side. We had at least 3 girls that were over 6 foot, and now coming in here, like the returning players that we have are like 5'2", 5'5", 5'6". Yeah. So definitely a big thing for us is that we're going to come back a lot smaller, but I think that we're coming back more athletic, and we, like he said, we all have a lot of experience. The younger girls coming in are definitely a huge athletic group. Like their whole class is just athletic, so that's something that we're bringing that we might not have a lot of experience, and maybe some kids don't have as much talent, but they're all very athletic, and we're going to try and use that in our advantage.
Yeah, we're bringing speed. I think that's one thing that we're bringing back, which is important. We talked about just a lot of speed and quickness, along with we're not bringing back height, but that's an advantage that we have as a team.
I agree. They're bringing back a lot of speed. There's no doubt. Maybe not the height, but a lot of guts too. They'll be ready to get on the floor and play anytime. I'm not worried if they get down. We'll fight back. So, and if we get in the lead, good luck catching us.
All right, I think that's going to be it for today. So thanks, guys, and we'll have another team in here soon. Players, that's my bad. If you guys just want to introduce yourselves when you get up there.
Oh, these are high chairs. These are high.
Need a boost?
Oh, got it. We're good. Oh. Okay. Ready? Yeah. I'm Lexi Adams.
And my name is Peyton Tritz.
Coach, I want to ask about the shot clock in Class B this year. How do you think that's going to change how you've coached teams in the past and how it might affect this group and all of maybe just Class B basketball?
Well, I think the girls will tell you the same thing. I don't think that's going to affect our team as much. Teams are going to try to, you can see it in the college game, maybe full court press to run some of that clock down. But our girls are good shooters. They know what a good shot looks like. We have played in a shot clock game before. We did not get buzzed. We don't pass up good shots. So I think to get us in a shot clock situation, we're going to have to throw an air ball up, and then we're going to be scrambling a little bit. But most of our girls, these girls all know if they're open, that's a good shot for us. So unless you guys think, what do you think?
No, he kind of definitely said it all. I mean, we're a shooting team, so we're definitely going to shoot the ball when we get that open shot. Secondly, I know I talked about this before, but with the shot clock, it's going to reward us for good defense. I mean, instead of being on there for a possession that's 2 to 3 minute long, you get that shot clock goes off, and now it's your ball. That's a huge momentum carry, obviously having that good defense with it.
Teams are obviously going to press this year. We can also put in our press. I think with our speed that we can break these presses, and we don't have a problem with putting up shots.
Peyton and Lexi, you are the only 2 seniors on the team. How does that feel, and what has this program done for you and helped shape you as a basketball player and both on and off the court?
For me, it's crazy. It's crazy to think, out of however many people started out, we're the 2 that stuck it out. But I think it's just, honestly, being able to spend, because I moved here last year, being able to spend this last year with new people, it's just a good experience.
So I played 3 sports throughout my 4 years of high school. I think that I'm grateful to even be able to play sports, and to play 3 sports is a lot, but I'm grateful that I stuck it out because of this team, and it's so much fun, and it's a really big family.
How are you guys looking to build a team culture this year and build team chemistry?
I know this first thing comes to mind is team dinners, if I'm gonna lie. Being able to spend outside time with each other, not just in practice, but we're a really good close-knit group. So this is just hanging outside on and off the court, going out to dinner, hanging out at someone's friends, that's huge. It's something so little, but just being able to be with each other and spend as much time as we can.
Coach and Lexi, I know you mentioned you are a multi-sport athlete. What are the challenges of keeping players ready, especially if they play multiple sports, and what is the challenges of making sure you don't get burnt out?
So a lot of it comes with also being a student athlete. School obviously comes before like doing sports and stuff like that. So I really have to communicate with my coaches, and it's hard mentally. Like when you have someone to talk to, like Cockrell's a great person to talk to. When like I'm feeling stressed out or something, he can always help me, especially with math. He's a math teacher, so he's always there to help me with that.
Yeah, I think load management's big. We have a great weightlifting program, great coach there. We communicate a lot. We have great training staff. Physically, we try to load manage. We don't try to do too much. We got a lot of games coming up. We don't overbear on them too much because we know they're doing school. They might be doing some other club sports too, but it's a long season, so you have to take your time getting into it and just take care of the girls. You got to know what they look like at practice and see if you push a little more or not. So.
All right, thank you guys. I think we will actually have another team in here soon. So.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Hey everybody, welcome back to our Media Days sponsored by the College of Journalism and Mass Communications. I believe this is our last team for today. It's Lincoln Christian, so we'll let them introduce themselves and get to questions.
I'm Maddie Kasbaum. I am a guard.
I'm Kenna Ailes. I'm a forward.
I'm Annie Heiser, and I'm a guard.
And Scott Klein, the head girls coach.
Okay, so one thing that your coach has emphasized is relationships. So how has that contributed to your overall goals this year?
Relationships are just a huge part that bring chemistry to the whole team, and that'll just help us reach all of our goals in the season.
I would say also having like trust in your teammates, and each of us have a specific role, and we're all trying to work our roles together in order for the team victory.
Yeah, that's been a big point of emphasis for us. We want, every girl that's in the program, just not these three that are sitting here. That they feel valued. Build that relationship, and then, the best teams that are out there, they have the chemistry. You hear about that all the time. Doesn't matter what sport you're playing. So they've done a good job. We've had some, we went out to Kearney this summer and did it overnight in camp, and they stayed together in rooms, and I have no idea how long they stayed up till. But that's when you build the relationships and they have fun. So that's always a big part of what we're trying to do. We want everybody to feel valued.
In your second, so this is for Coach Klein, what have you learned from coaching this team in one season, and how are you going to use that in your second season coaching?
Yeah, that's a good question. Every season's different. We had a pretty successful run last year with these girls, and we do have 4 returning starters back. As a coach, it took me about a month before I could watch the Bridgeport State tournament game. I think to myself, why didn't I do something a little differently when they went on a run? But it's still a every day of learning and figuring out exactly I'm gonna try and put them in the best position to have success. If that's certain plays we run or certain defenses we run. So the good thing about it is with 4 returning starters back, they kind of understand what our expectations are, how we want to practice, and they know that with this year, I think we'll probably have some pretty high expectations going into the season. Last year coming in, that kind of nobody knew kind of who we were. The girls were under the radar. When you go 22-4, I think people will be out to get us this year, and I think they just need to understand that and embrace it. And then I always say, we'll just get in the gym on Monday, and we'll start to work towards reaching those goals.
Now with the bullseye on your back, what's the key to staying consistent and staying locked in after because now all the pressure is kind of on you guys now?
Yeah, we all know that the state championship is our goal in the end, and we all have that in our view. But right now our focus is on just practicing hard, working on what we can control, maximizing our God-given ability, and honoring Him through that, and staying close as a team.
I think a big thing will be not letting that confidence and the hype that we might be receiving get to us, and not overlooking just those smaller games maybe, just taking it one game at a time.
Yeah, I do know one thing. When we had our, I met with these girls, like a month ago when we had an open gym, and just was kind of talking to them and just kind of figuring out what their goals are. And I had, one of the players said that, every game, we need to treat it like it's the championship. Don't play down to our level of competition. That's how you get better. Is every game that we have to go out to the approach like last year. They put in the time. They put time in the gym. They're very talented. I think Maddie said it. best there, that, you know, God has given them real ability to play the game of basketball. And so now we just need to focus and you know, give effort. And hopefully this year we just work on more of the details. We fine tune things, because we're not changing our strategy and how we go about, you know, our offense and defense. And so now we're going to work on the details every single day, and that's our job as coaches, to make sure that we are working on the details, so that when we're in that position again against Bridgeport, a team like that we can come out on top, or, you know, we compete for another conference championship like we did last year.
Given that you guys have so many returning starting players, how do you kind of assess the player-led leadership of the group? Do you guys think there's more of like a business-like mentality this season?
Yeah, it could. I guess you could frame it as business-like, I guess. You know, I don't, every year is different. You know, we had a great season last year, you know, but 22, 23 is done. Now it's 23, 24. And every year as a coach, you know, we lost 2 really good leaders last year, I thought. And now as a coach, you know, I think these 3 girls here are leaders, but now it's their turn to step up and be the leaders. And I'm putting a lot on them, the coaching staff, of letting them be the leaders. They've been in the system now. You know, Annie's a senior and Kenna and Maddie are juniors, and, you know, now they got to set the example for our freshmen of, you know, how we practice and, you know, how we go about our business, you know, being in the classroom, you know, and things like that. So it's definitely every year, you know, as the coach, I hope they become good leaders, you know, and I think they're getting there. And hopefully we're directing them in the right way, and we're helping them become leaders, because, you know, just besides basketball, these 3 ladies here, they're just unbelievable people. You know, they love their Lord and Savior. They love Lincoln Christian, and they love the girls on the team, and that's what's most important to me.
So both your boys team on Tuesday and now you guys have both touched on the importance of faith. What is the importance of faith in your athletic careers and as a coach? Question for all of you guys.
It's, I guess, just the most important thing. Basketball is just a game, and our coaches do a really good job of emphasizing that. We talk about playing for an audience of one, only playing for God, and not anybody in the crowd. And that's the most important thing we talk about.
Yeah, I think it's super cool for us. We know no matter if we win or lose, we know that we're not defined by that, and our identity ultimately comes from Christ, and that just helps us with our confidence and our identity as we go through the season.
I'd say the same as what Kenna said. Just finding your identity in Jesus is so much more stable than finding your identity in either like the wins or the losses or what the world places value on the sport, but just finding your identity in Jesus.
And I just love what they said. I mean, I don't have anything else to add to that. That their number one goal is, you know, they're playing for God. You know, they're not playing for me or their parents. We're playing for an audience of one, and it's awesome to hear all 3 of them. You know, they're all 3 have very strong faiths in their families, and that's the neat thing about Lincoln Christian is, you know, with the Christian education and, you know, everybody in the school, you know, they're there for that reason, you know, and that's what makes it special.
You guys have talked about that you guys were on top of arguably the best basketball conference in Nebraska. How does that competition fuel you guys going into next season?
Well, we do play. You know, you can have arguments all day with along which one's who's the best conference, but in C1, I think we're definitely have the best conference. You know, you look at volleyball. You know, Lutheran just won the volleyball title in C2. Kearney Catholic was in the finals. Fremont Bergen was in the district finals. They're really good. Grand Island Jacinto Catholic, another one that's in our conference, it's really good. Hastings St. Cecilia last year with a young team, was in the finals in C2. So that's one thing that I think we do pride ourselves on, is the conference we play in and the schedule we have. You know, we've upgraded a little bit this year. You know, we're playing a Beatrice. You know, I think we got, I'd have to look exactly sure, but 6 or 7 Class B teams on our schedule this year, and we're C1. Our Jamboree, we're playing against Pius, so we're playing a Class A team. You know, that doesn't count towards points or anything like that, but you know, we've upgraded our schedule, so that's another reason that, you know, we gotta come locked in on day one for that. You know, with the schedule that we've picked up. You know, we also picked up Sydney, who last year I think they were like 22-3 in Class B and dropped down to C1. We're playing them out in Kearney beginning in January we got invited to play in the showcase. Our schedule is definitely a little tougher this year. You can't take a night off in our conference and with our schedule this year. And I hope they understand that, and I hope they just continue to work hard, that every night when we have a game, when the ball gets thrown up, they're ready to go.
So you guys mentioned having a tougher schedule this year, facing some Class B teams. So how are you guys going to sort of stand out from the crowd and like make a name for yourselves against these Class B schools?
I will go back to what Kenna said earlier about just going one game at a time, not getting into like just focusing on one game at a time, making sure that we don't get like too big on it, and then also just focusing on what we can control in practice, like encouraging one another, and winning will take care of itself.
Yeah, and I think those hard games we'll be playing, those Class B teams and Pius and the Jamboree and stuff, those things will just help us. Those games will just help improve us and get us better and more prepared.
It's fun playing, you know, those teams. You know, it's fun playing somebody up a little bit. And when we play those teams, you know, we play Norris, we play Seward. You know, we thought Sydney was going to be there. You know, a few teams like that. I mean, these girls have played against them. Their whole life growing up. You know, Lincoln's a small town, so we know all the Norris girls. We know all the. I think a couple of them had a Seward girl on their teams during the summer. You know, things like that. So that's the challenge. But that's what we want. You know, when you have a successful season we did last year, you know, we want a tough schedule. I want to challenge them. You know, so when end February comes, beginning of March, you know, we've went through the gauntlet, and you know, hopefully, you know, it'll better prepare us for that state tournament, and that's their goal.
All right, sweet. Well, thank you guys so much. I think that's all we have for tonight. So thank you for watching, and have a good night.